Former President Donald Trump has upset his appointees because now they're finding that their wages are being garnished. These are government workers who didn't have to pay payroll taxes during the pandemic because Donald Trump decided that, since the pandemic was hurting the economy, he wanted to stimulate it by ensuring that Americans wouldn't have to pay payroll taxes. Now, that wasn't actually applied to all American workers, of course, but he did apply that to government workers. And then it turns out that later they had to pay those back taxes and their wages are being garnished. So let me tell you how this story broke down because it's pretty incredible. So in August of last year, Trump issued an executive order allowing employers to put off paying their workers' share of the 12.4% Social Security tax for the rest of the year. The idea was to boost consumer spending by putting more money in the pockets of millions of Americans. In fact, he not only did this for employers, he bragged about it during multiple press conferences and even had a promise included that he didn't actually keep. Let's watch.
We'll be terminating the payroll tax after I hopefully get elected. We'll be terminating the payroll tax, so that will mean anywhere from $5,000 to even more per family. And also great for businesses and great for jobs.
If I'm victorious on November 3rd, I plan to forgive these taxes and make permanent cuts to the payroll tax. I'm gonna make them all permanent. Now, Joe Biden and the Democrats may not want that. They don't want that because they're adding $3 trillion in taxes. So they'll have the option of raising everybody's taxes and taking this away. But if I win, I may extend and terminate.
So we will be, on the assumption I win, we are going to be terminating the payroll tax.
Biden probably won't be doing that. You'll have to ask him. I don't think he knows what he's doing.
Oops, well, obviously Trump didn't win. He didn't permanently do away with the payroll tax. And what's really interesting about this is even though he had this executive order indicating that employers could stop paying the payroll tax, most of them were like, no, we're gonna keep paying the payroll tax. Like, we don't trust this guy, right? However, federal employees making less than $8,000 a month had to, this was mandatory. The payroll tax deferral was mandatory for them, right? So payroll taxes are deferred. Trump loses the election. The payroll taxes, of course, are not permanently done away with. And now his appointees are finding that their wages are being garnished because they gotta pay their payroll taxes. So in theory, taxpayers would still be liable for the taxes at a later date, but the executive order says the Secretary of the Treasury shall explore avenues, including legislation, to eliminate the obligation to pay the taxes deferred pursuant to the implementation of this memorandum. And so they've been ordered to immediately repay months of payroll taxes that they had deferred under a bid by Trump to boost the economy ahead of last year's elections. Levies, he had assured them, would be forgiven. And one former official called her $1,300 bill unacceptable, saying that she and her colleagues gave our time and effort to this agency, and this is how we're getting paid back. But this is Trump. This is what Trump does. This is what they should have expected.
Yeah, of course. By the way, on that issue alone, thank God Trump didn't get reelected. If he got rid of the payroll tax, that's the thing that funds Social Security and Medicare. So you could say, oh, hey, for a little while I didn't pay X amount of taxes, right? And oops, I don't get any Social Security or Medicare when I retire. It would have absolutely eviscerated Social Security and Medicare.
Yep.
And again, barely anyone called him out on it. I mean, it's tough because there's so many thousand lies and controversies in the Trump era. But that would have been an absolutely disastrous policy. And to the people that are now, complaining that Trump didn't deliver on promises.
I know, I mean.
Come on. We're
talking about promises.
Promises?
Promises.
Promises.
We're talking about promises. Come on, it just doesn't make any sense. One former Trump appointee just simply said, it's just a very unfortunate situation. And look, I happen to agree with this former Trump appointee who spoke to Politico on condition of anonymity, right? Because they didn't really have a choice. It was mandatory based on how Trump wrote the executive order and how it impacted federal employees. But there's one other appointee who I disagree with, and this is the statement, the entitled statement. I just think it's really hypocritical that the Biden administration, because it's Biden's fault, right?
Oh, of course.
Yeah, the Biden administration, which is spending trillions to send people checks in the mail, are demanding that former government employees who went into the office every day are now being forced to give back hard-earned money for a program that I did not opt into in the first place. Well, you're right, you didn't opt into in the first place. Donald Trump forced you to opt into that program, and you didn't pay your taxes.
Yeah.
You didn't pay your taxes.
It's not like that you have to pay $1,300 out of nowhere. It's $1,300 you saved earlier. So, but these Trump appointees, they love crying. The other day, Biden removed a whole bunch of them that were political appointments because the new president puts it in. I don't know why he waited that long, but that's okay. God bless, he's doing his normal job, right? And they start crying, oh, I thought we were gonna get to stay. Why would you think you were gonna get to stay?
Right.
There's normal government workers that are career employees and they stay through all the administrations, and Biden didn't fire any of those. These are political appointments of Donald Trump who are toxic. Why the hell would Biden keep them? But they're so bathed in privilege. They're like, I didn't pay my taxes before, now I gotta pay them? Oh, this is an outrage.
Yes.
And I got appointed to be a jerk who you don't agree with at all. And now because you won, you don't want me? Yeah, of course, that's how it works. You replaced an Obama appointee. And you weren't crying then. And this is the one time Biden was strong and he was like, elections have consequences.
Yep.
Of course.
Okay, good. Biden, I'm giving you a little bit of credit.
Hey, look at that. Are we not merciful? Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.